Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial about view layers per camera using the Photographer add-on for Blender. So imagine that you have an office room and your client wants to see different layouts of props in that room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all my props and I'm going to group them under a new collection, which will be Office Props 01. Then I'm going to duplicate all my objects and I will assign them to a new collection called Office Prop 02. If I go to the outliner, I can disable the Office Prop 02 for this view layer because I don't want to have the two sets visible at the same time. Then I'm going to rename this view layer so it's a bit clearer. I'm going to duplicate it. This is going to copy all the settings. And for this new view layer, I will only activate the Office Prop 02. So now I'm able to modify this layout with new positions and new objects if I want. Let's say that I'm happy with this result. I can compare. So this is my second layer, and then my first view layer still has kept all the previous setup. But something that I forgot is that I have a second camera in the scene, and it looks all nice with the first view layer. I have that plant in the frame, but if I look at the second view layer, this doesn't really make sense. I don't want to render that. So I can just uncheck this renderable camera button. And this is going to make sure that for this camera, I'm only going to render one view layer. So I'm disabling the viewport render because sometimes it's a bit unstable. I go to the render queue and I press render all enabled. It's going to render my two cameras. And it's rendering the first layer. Then it switches to the second camera and it's going to render the two layers here. So here I can make sure that I have all my view layers that have been saved for the cameras. Everything is correct. But by default, Blender is not going to save those files automatically. So there is one way to do it. You can save as open EXR multilayer. This is a format that's going to save the view layers as layers inside a single file. You can also set this output file format in the scene directly. So every time you will render, it will save to that format. If I open this file in Affinity Photo, I think this is a much better software. Photoshop requires a free plugin called EXR.io to import all the view layers, but here you can see that they're already there. But you will notice that it looks different from what you see in Blender. Like the windows are blown out, there is much more contrast, and that's because the color management from Blender is not applied automatically in Affinity Photo. This is a whole other topic, which I will not approach today in this video, but you can find a lot of information on YouTube about how to recreate Blender color management in Affinity Photo. The other way is to go to Blender Compositing and duplicate the render layer node. And then you can see that you can select the view layer. So here I'm going to select Office Props 2 for the second node. I'm going to create a file output node. And I would create an additional input, which is going to be the Office Prop 02, renaming the first one Office Prop 01, so it's clear. This name is important because if you use the render queue, then this is going to be used in your file name. And now I can connect the image output of the two render layers into that file output node and make sure that the use nodes is checked. And that's it for this tutorial. I hope this was helpful. See you next time.